All right, let me share my screen. So yesterday we were discussing about CTEs, right? We are almost done with the concept. We are left over with one more example, correct? So what CTEs are basically doing here, it is a kind of temporary table which helps us to store some values or output in it, but the existence of that CTE will be only for that particular query itself, right? So we solved one example yesterday. Whatever queries we solved so far by using joins or normal SQL queries and subqueries can also be solved by using CTEs, right? So yesterday we solved one question like this: average salary of employees in IT department, and list the employees who earn more than the average. That means in subqueries what the concept is, we will have inner query and outer query, and we will write here average of the salaries. Syntax I wrote inside the inner query, right? First SQL will execute this inner query, and then only it will execute the outer query in subqueries, correct? So after, as SQL executes in a query first, I wrote average salary here, because after executing this one, we will get one average salary value, and depending upon that value, we will compare and we will display the employee details, right? So I wrote employee details or whatever we are having the second requirement in the outer query, correct? Clear? And the same way, if we are using subqueries, this is the thing. So if we are using CTEs, what we will do, SQL will execute CTEs first, then it will execute the remaining query. So all the CTEs we will write inside the parentheses only. First it will execute CTEs. We will start writing CTEs by writing, like, by using with. We'll say with CTE name as. So that's the reason I wrote some directly, I given some name as average salary, and I wrote the average salary logic inside the CTE, so that first SQL will execute this one, and that value will be will be stored in average salary. Here this CTE name is average salary. As I said, it is a kind of temporary table which is holding the average salary value here, right? And whatever our requirement is there, after closing the brackets we can write another SQL query, correct? Now first it will execute this according to that salary what we will get, the average salary what we will get, that average salary, it will store in this temporary table, kind of a table, right? So now my average salary is storing in this table, and I gave one alias name here. So this will be my column name, this will be my table name. That is the reason in the select command I wrote directly name salary from employees comma average salary. Here basically I'm using where salary greater than, from this table I'm taking this column, right? That means table name dot column name, from average salary table I'm taking the average salary column data here and I'm comparing it, correct? Actually this thing will be common in all the cities. According to the requirement, what we will use normal logic here. Okay, I hope this is clear for everyone. Let's solve this question. So did anyone try this question? Here we know what I'm saying, that find the total salary expenditure for each department. Let me first show you the which do this is the employees table we have. I'm having department details in employees table itself. So now I'm saying I want to find the total salary expenditure for each department, and then I need to list the departments where total salary is greater than 1 lakh. Right? We know whenever we are dealing with total salary, in the sense obviously we need to write a function here like some function to find the total salary, correct? And each department, in the sense, we know in joins we will use I mean in normal SQL queries, whenever we want to find each department, we will use group by clause, right? So the same logic we will use here also. We will divide these questions into two parts, but we will save one of the question that total salary expenditure, whatever we are trying to find, that one inside that CTE we will write, and whatever requirement we want, that one we will write outside the CTE. Correct? Basically, here I want to find the total salary of each department first of all. I'm having only two departments here, HR and IT. I need to find the average of each department. I mean, it's not average, sorry. Total salary of each department, correct? That is department wise total salary I need to find. I will save that one inside my CTE, and then by using that CTE value, I'll compare that total salary with this number here, right? That is what I wrote here. Now let's try to write the query. So what I'm saying, first I need to find the total salary for each departments, right? So I will write with CTE as. So here my CTE name, I can write anything. So maybe first I will write CTE only, as I will say. And what logic I will write inside the CTE? I need to find the total salary expenditure for each department. Correct? Then
Select
I need
sum
to
of
find.
salary.
Correct. We will write select sum of salary. Correct. First, let me use a brackets here. Okay. Inside the brackets only we need to write. Maybe I'll write here select sum of salary. Correct.
Comma department.
Yeah. First, let me write it normally. So I will say first select sum of salary. Okay. This will be my total salary. And from which table I'm taking this? I'm taking this from employees table. Correct. Now what I need to do? I need to find department wise
Group by
total
department.
salary. Correct? So perfect. We will use group by department. What we have
Comma.
here, column. One second. We're having department only as a column name, right? So I will write directly department. Group by department. Okay, so we know whenever we will use any column inside the group by, we need to write that column name inside the select statement, right? So that is the reason I can write whether anywhere I will write a department, the same column name inside the select command again. Correct? This is the logic here. If I execute this, what it will do? It will give me the department wise total salary. This is the total salary. As we saw in the output just now, we have HR and IT. If I am two employees we had, and the total salary of HR is this one, HR department employees is this one, IT department employees is this one, right? We got our logic. That is first part of the question is done. Right now here, what after writing the complete query also, what whenever we execute, what SQL will do? First it will execute this one, the values whatever we saw just now, that will store inside this CTE. Correct? So I can rename this CTE as maybe department wise salaries or department salaries, something like that, right? So maybe I will write it as department salaries. Okay, according to the output we can rename the CTE name here. Correct? So my next requirement is that I need to display the data of departments whose total salary is greater than 1 lakh. So what I can write directly here, all my
Select
department.
department, comma salary from employees, comma
Perfect.
department salaries.
So basically this total salary is saving, I'm saving inside the CTE. Correct? So I will directly write it as select department comma. First, I will write an alias name here. Maybe I will write as total salaries. Okay, better we will write this first. Here we will write also, no problem. So this will be our, main the group by clause, the first part of the question, department comma sum of salary from employees group by department. And for the sum of salary, I'm using the alias name as total salary. Salary is enough. Correct? So now what I can write here directly, I will write department comma
Total salary.
total salary. Now tell me
Comma.
what we need to write.
From employees, comma, department salaries dot total salary.
Please repeat. Tell me once again what did you said?
From employees, comma, department salaries dot total salary.
Okay. Or else directly we can write from department salaries also, because here whatever I want, I'm storing department also in this table,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. It's right, right,
So
right.
directly, no need of writing again employees table. Previously, we didn't store that kind of data in the CTE. That's the reason we used employees. Here, as we are using group by clause, we will use that column name inside the select clause. That is the reason directly I can give only this table name. No need of giving again employees table. Okay. From department salaries, I will tell, and directly I will write the where condition inside this, right? I will say where. So now what I want to find, where total salary,
Is greater than 1 lakh.
that's it. This one. This is about our question. First SQL will solve this. Where was that? Here. Sorry. I need to end it here only, right? This is our CTE. So first SQL will solve this CTE. Whatever values we will get, that values directly I'm saying inside a table, temporary kind of table called as department salaries. That is the reason directly I'm saying from this table name, I'm just displaying this data and I'm using where condition here. Correct? Very simple. See, going forward, I mean, just try to practice. If you know the logic, you can write these CTEs or subqueries easily only. Okay, let me just execute this. See, we got our output. If I say, see here, actually, as we got two departments as it is, right? Because I said 1 lakh only. Here I'm having 10 lakh 50,000 in one department. Suppose if my question is 11 lakh, now if I execute this, the output will be different here. If I execute this only with CTE, I mean, whatever query we are using, the department wise salary, total salary is this one. Okay. And I'm comparing whose department, in which department the total salary is greater than 11,000, right? So now only we will get one record, correct? It's not 11,000. See, correct? Previously, I just used 1 lakh. As we are having two departments more than 1 lakh only, it is I can able to see the two departments detail. If I use like 1 lakh 10,000, only one department I got. Correct? Like that it is. I hope everyone is clear with CTEs. Why we will use CTEs in the sense? See, there is no disadvantages in using CTEs. We can use so far whatever concepts you learn, all those concepts. Like let me write it here. To write any complete SQL query, in the sense whatever we saw, the what we call the sequence of writing SQL query we saw, right? Like maybe select, distinct, from, joins, where clause, what's next after where, group by clause, having clause, did I missed anything, order by clause, limit, right? Joins, where clause, group by clause, having after, yes, this is the complete sequence of writing a SQL query, which we already discussed previously, right? This order only we will follow, correct? So if you are perfect with each and every concept which I used here, and again when I am talking about clauses here, operators will also include. So basically all the first concepts before subqueries, if we can write, if whatever the question is, if whatever the complex, how much complex the query is also, we can write all those queries either by using this thing or by using subqueries. Next concept is subqueries, or by using CTEs. Okay, either this thing, either this thing, either this thing. In subqueries we have correlated and non correlated. Correlated we have a disadvantage of performance issue. The SQL completely our database performance will be reduced by using correlated, so we won't prefer, we are not supposed to use a correlated much. So either we can use non correlated or this thing, whatever you are comfortable with in real time. All the questions whatever you see here, everything will be solved by any of these methods. Okay. And if we are talking about disadvantages or advantages, which is we don't have any disadvantages with this one, we don't have any disadvantages with this one. We had only one disadvantage in CT, that is correlated subqueries. Okay, for non correlated also we don't have any disadvantages. If we can talk about why CTEs, then already we are having this one in the sense, it is another way of writing. You can choose anywhere we want, but there is a saying that whatever we write inside CTEs, that is easily readable and understandable. That means if I wrote query, and if anyone if I wrote some code, complete SQL code, if anyone sees my code, when comparing to this one, whatever I wrote inside the CTE will be very, it will be in a step by step manner, it will be in an understandable manner, it's very readable kind of thing. It is a say that maybe it is a myth or it is a fact, we don't know, but there is a saying that if we use CTEs, they can, anyone else who wrote the query, if I wrote the query, if you saw my query, you can understand my query very easily if I write the query in the CTs. Like that, it is a saying. It is again our own perspective. Anything we can use, either CTE or this one, whatever you feel easy, you can use. Okay. I hope now this will be one of the advantage also, I cannot say, but this thing generally everyone will say, this thing will believe that whatever, whenever we use CTs, maybe it will be easy to understand the code for someone else. Okay, because we will basically divide it into parts, right? Like in joins, if we are joins also, of course, if anyone need to understand, in the sense they should know the topic. If they know the topic, they can understand either joins or CTs, correct? So I hope CTEs is clear for everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Great.
Divya, what about recursive city?
Recursive CTE is see, it is again, if whatever complex queries we can include in the recursive CTEs, that's it. Okay. So yes, that's it about the cities concept. Actually, to be frank, I removed this from our, what we call, index, but up to your batch only I'm covering the cities concept. I removed in my index, but management didn't remove in their website. That is the reason for your batch I'm continuing this. If you can see from the next batch, this topic is not included in our indexes, and I mean, in this place I'm introducing Windows function there. This is a completely advanced topic. Again, there is, if it is advanced topic also, as I said, we have alternatives. If we can use all the complete SQL query, every question, every query we will solve by using either that or either this. Whatever questions we can write, suppose if we are using multiple joins, maybe 5 6 tables of multiple joins, all those complex queries, or else whenever we had to use correlated subqueries like complex queries, here the thing is recursive CTEs. Okay, all the complex queries will write we will write inside the recursive CTE. That means we will break this into different parts. This is after CTE, I wrote only one question, right? Like that we will have a different questions, but concept is nowhere different. I mean, it is not completely different. You can explore on your own. Okay, if you want, but I suggest first, if you are completely new to I mean, if you are still in the learning process of SQL, first please be perfect up to, before subqueries, whatever a SQL queries execution I wrote, first be perfect with everything, try to understand the logics, practice the examples, then only come to this subqueries and CTEs part. Okay. All right, let's start our new concept today called as stored procedure.
And do you have you included triggers also in this image?
No, triggers are completely into, PL SQL thing. Triggers, procedures, not SQL.
Okay.
In index also, I didn't mention triggers, right? I said this
Yes,
in
yes.
the demos part also. Yeah, that is a completely PL SQL part. Okay.
So,
Yeah. So next we are having stored procedures. This is a very easy concept, I can say, and again important concept also. Okay. So now let's try to understand what stored procedure is. So basically, what stored procedure, or we can also call it as procedure in the sense, let if I tell you technically, we will call it as it is a pre-compiled set of SQL statements which are stored and reused. Or else to easily understandable, we can write it as stored procedure in SQL is a group of SQL statements. Okay, first I will write the definition, then I will explain with the examples, then you can understand very easily. So in store procedure, what we will do, it is a group of SQL statements. We can store group of SQL statements. It, Store procedure in SQL is a group of SQL statements that are stored and I can say stored together and reused. Basically, to make you understand what I can say, when we will create procedures here, inside the procedures, what we will do, we will store some, group of SQL statements, or I can say bundle of SQL statements inside the procedure. And whenever we want to reuse that SQL statements, we can directly call them here. However, previously for tables, we will execute the tables to see the output. In store procedures, we will call the store procedures. I mean, to see the output, we need to call it. We don't use a select here, we will use call. We will see that detailing. So to explain you clearly, maybe I can say, in daily basis, for again it depends upon our whatever project we are working on daily basis or very frequently, if you use some queries, okay, instead of writing all that queries very frequently or on daily basis, what we will do, we will create a procedure. Inside that procedure, we will store that SQL statements, and whenever it is needed, we will call them. Like suppose there is one sort of queries which I will do on, which I know I'm going to do that every day, I'm going to execute that every day. Instead of writing every day the same query, I will just store all those SQL queries in one store procedure, and daily I will just use one single line, that is I will call that store procedure, and I can work on it. Okay, this is the basic understanding. Let's solve an example, then you can understand it very easily. Okay, so the stored procedure concept is very easy to understand, and again it is important topic also. Okay, so I activated Maven movies here. Maybe first, to make you understand, first I will use very simple select statement as we did yesterday. Okay, so we know we are having film table here. Select star from film, where rating is equals to some PG, correct? Sorry, is equals to, right? Here by executing this, we will get all the PG related data, correct? Now I am having one more table in the same database. Where was that? Payment table. I will write one more SQL statement here. Select a star from payment, where amount greater than What amounts we have in this? Okay, maybe I'll write greater than 5. Okay, so this is one SQL statement, this is one SQL statement, right? Whenever if we want to execute in MySQL, of course in MySQL semicolon is optional, but whenever we are executing both the SQL statements together, we need to use semicolon, or it will throw us error, right? We know this concept. I just tried to use like this, it is throwing me error. Definitely I need to use a semicolon, then only SQL will understand this is the end of one statement and this is the another statement, correct? So now I executed them, the two SQL statements normally. This is my first SQL output. This is my second query output, right? Now what I will do, suppose imagine I will use this two queries daily in my project. So what I will do, I will create a procedure for this. Okay. Let's solve once you see this, then we will solve one example on joins. Okay, first for the basic understanding, I'm using this two basic queries. Okay, first how to create procedure. So whenever we are create procedures, there are some rules, but first let me write the syntax. I will say create procedure. Okay, so I will write create procedure. I can give any procedure name here. Basically I prefer to use SP at the starting, which indicates store procedure. So I will give the name in such a way that whenever we saw the procedure, we need to understand what SQL statements we are storing in it. So here I'm storing maybe rating column of film table and payment tables data, right? So maybe I will call it as rating underscore transaction. So I can easily understand all my ratings is that will be there in this, and all my transaction details also will be there in this, right? Like that, whatever we can write, this is basically the procedure name. You can write as you wish. Okay, so every time whenever we are writing the procedure name, we need to use the parenthesis. Okay, basically the reason why we will use this in the sense, we will, while creating procedure, inside the procedure we can give the parameters. Okay, first I'm creating normal procedure, then we will see how we will use the parameters inside it. So basically in this brackets only, in this parenthesis only, I will give the parameters. Okay, I'm creating a normal procedure. This is create procedure, procedure name. Every time after writing procedure name, we need to use brackets, same like functions concept. Now this will be my first line. After that I will use a begin keyword. That means I'm saying I'm beginning my code, I can say. Okay, after writing beginning in this, in I mean after begin, we can write any SQL statements which we want to store in this procedure. Now I'm storing this two SQL statements, right? So I'm just copy this and paste it here. Okay, again definitely I need to use a semicolon at the end, then only SQL will understand this is one thing and this is another thing. This thing we should not forget, or else it will we will get an error. Okay, so I'm saying I'm creating a procedure. This is my procedure name. After procedure name, we need to use parenthesis. I begin my code. I'm storing some SQL queries inside this code. Okay, whatever SQL queries, it may be simple, it may be long queries, whatever it is we can store. But after storing every thing, every one, after completing one SQL query, we need to write the semicolon for sure. Okay, now I'm only storing this two statements and I used end. That is, SQL will understand this is the begin of my code, this is the end of my code. Okay, we need to write like this only. Again, here we have a small concept called as delimiter. Delimiter in the sense, in SQL by default semicolon will is our delimiter. That means delimiter is something I mean it is a symbol which SQL will understand, that is the end of the query. Okay, that one we will call it as delimiter. For example, in SQL, in all the SQL, irrespective of the tool which we have, MySQL, SQL Server, PostgreSQL, everywhere semicolon is the delimiter. Previously, we used to use definitely without semicolons in Oracle SQL or even SQL Server, no single select statement will work. Okay, previously, before 5, 6 years back. Now in SQL Server also, without using semicolon, we can execute the select statement. But still, SQL will consider semicolon as a by default delimiter. Okay. Okay, did you got my point? That means whenever semicolon SQL will see semicolon, it will understand that is the end of a query. Okay, so now what I'm doing, I will write any number of SQL queries inside the procedure. So to differentiate, to make SQL understand what is the end of the procedure, what is the end of a SQL query, we will use a different delimiter for procedure. So for that, what I will do before started writing create procedure only, I will write a delimiter, and I will use the symbol called as like this double hash. Either we can use double hash or else we can use double dollar. Anything is fine. It's our wish. Okay. So for now I'm using double dollar. Now whenever SQL sees this, it will understand again the same symbol. I need to copy and I need to use after end. Okay. This is the complete, you know, way of writing a procedure. So whenever I'm executing this, SQL will understand this is the delimiter for the procedure. Procedure is starting from here and the ending till here whenever it sees this dollar symbol. And inside that, whenever it sees semicolon, it will understand that is the SQL queries inside it. Okay, am I clear this point, everyone? Guys,
Yes, ma'am.
great. So this is how we will write a stored procedure. Okay.
Ma'am, can you explain the delimiter part once again?
Okay, so I'm saying delimiter is in the sense, what is delimiter in the sense? What, you know, if we use any symbol, what delimiter in the sense, SQL will consider delimiter as the end of our SQL statement. By default, by default, semicolon is a delimiter here in SQL. That is, after writing any SQL statement, if SQL sees semicolon, that is considered as a delimiter, and SQL will understand this is the end of this statement. Okay. So by default, in every tool, semicolon is only the delimiter of SQL. Okay, delimiter in the sense whenever semicolon SQL will see semicolon, it will understand that is the end of the query. Okay,
Right.
basically that is a delimiter. Okay, so here what I'm doing, I can use multiple number of SQL statements, maybe 2, 4, 5, 6, however how many I can want, I can store inside the procedure. So just to make SQL will confuse what is the end of procedure and what is the end of SQL query inside it. So for that reason, still we will use end. Again, it won't sufficient. We are saying that this whenever SQL sees semicolon, it will understand that is the end of the procedure. So it will consider delimiter to this one. That is, if I am writing delimiter keyword and I'm using one symbol, SQL will understand. If it executes this, SQL will understand this is the delimiter they are using to store the procedure. So it will understand from here, after writing this symbol, from here is the start of the procedure till here, and this one will be the end of the procedure. This will be my complete procedure. Inside that, whenever it sees semicolon, it will understand this is one SQL query, this is one SQL query. Okay, basically to understand where is the start of our procedure, where is the end, where is our procedure is ending, we will use one another delimiter. We are not supposed to use semicolon here, because by default whenever semicolon is the uh, end of our SQL queries, right? So we will use delimiter, either this $2 or this, like, or this 2 hash. We can use anything. So I'm saying I'm using this symbol as a delimiter for creating the procedure. You wrote my complete syntax. After end, again I'm using this symbol so that SQL will understand this is the end. Am I clear?
Yeah, yeah.
So now I need to execute this one. Basically what I did here, I'm storing these two SQL statements
Ma'am, basically
inside the,
this is kind of function in other programming language, right?
yeah, correct. In C, C++, Java, we'll use the same thing, right? We will use the functions to store the code, right? The same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
We
Basically
need
to
to
write the business logic, we use function.
we use
So
functions,
here
and
we need to
inside,
call the function, right? SP rating transaction.
uh, Here also we will call the procedure only, and here also we will give the parameters, will declare the variables, same like whatever we will do in Java and all, the same concept. Okay, let me execute this first and let's see the output. So
No, but we need to call it, right?
yeah,
Then how it will run without calling it?
it will just create it first, something like creating the table. Call in the sense it will display the output like that.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so I'm just creating it. It got created. If I have the same name, procedure name, it will throw me error. For that reason, first we will create and we will make sure whether we are having this procedure or not. And this is there is one simple difference between another tools, maybe SQL Server, PostgreSQL, everywhere we can write create or replace procedure. Even in Oracle SQL also, directly we will use right like this. If we use like this, what it means, if we are having this, if I already created this procedure, it will just replace that existing procedure with this one. But here this replace will won't work in MySQL. So if it is already created, I need to drop the procedure and I need to create once again, or else I need to change the name. Okay, basically I executed this, my procedure got created. To see the output, I will call the procedure. Basically till now in tables, to see the output we used select command like select star, right? Here we need to call the procedures. I will just say call procedure name, that's it. Okay, we need to write call and procedure name, and if I execute this, it will show me the output of those two SQL queries, right? See, this will be my rating is equals to PG film data, that is the first SQL query whatever I wrote. This will be the second output of second SQL query, right? So what is happening here, if I know I'm going to use this two SQL statements every day, I will just create everything only once. So if I refresh this, you can see my procedure is got created, same like tables and views, we have stored procedure here. If I'm expanding it, you can see whatever procedure I created, SP rating transaction, we can see that inside it. Okay, so every time instead of writing everything, I'll just write call procedure name, that's it. It will show us the output of these two statements. Every day I will come, I won't use any other things, I will just directly I can use call procedure name, that's it. It will display me the data, whether it is joins, any complex queries, everything we can store like this. By simply calling that procedure, we can see the output, we can work on it. And all not only the select command, all DML statements like insert, update, all those things will also we can store inside the procedure. So did you got idea about what procedure is and what it is doing? Basic idea, did you understood, everyone?
Yeah, ma'am. Please could you run the program again?
Which program?
This one, call
Call.
SP.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, this will be my first query output, this will be my second query output. Amount greater than some value we gave, right, in the first one,
Okay.
amount greater than 5 PG. Okay, like that. Now this is the way of writing normal SQL, sorry, normal procedure. Okay, so even we can write the procedure in a dynamic way. If we write procedure in a dynamic way, then only we can, it will be more useful for us on daily basis. So how to write procedure in the dynamic way, let's see that. So here, first to understand the dynamic one, I will use the same example again. Okay, same example, I will show you how we will create it dynamically. So basically, as I said in the starting, we will use parameters inside the procedure. Okay, now to make this query as dynamic, I will create one parameter called as parameters, in the sense basically what I'm doing here in this SQL statement, I directly given PG is equals to rating, right? And I gave amount is greater than 5. Suppose tomorrow I want to see PG is equal, I mean rating is equals to G, we have another ratings also, right? So this way of writing will be the normal way or standalone, we will get only this PG data. If dynamic way, in the sense, I need to create a parameters that is in such a way that I can give input whenever I'm calling this procedure. I can give input. My input will be like whether I want to see PG data, whether I want to see another rating. We have G, PG, NC17, right? I can give whatever I want as my input. That procedure will display the output accordingly. Okay, let's see how we will do that. If we use like that, it will be useful, right? Every time we can just directly call it. Accordingly, we will give the input. It will give the output. So let's see how to create that first. So the same process first, as this is the same query, I'm just copying it, okay? And I will make the changes accordingly. This is how we wrote previously. So to make it dynamic, I said we will write the parameters inside it, right? Now my parameters will be like here. I'm giving two inputs. One is for rating and one is for amount, right? I'm giving a PG rating is equals to PG and I'm giving amount is greater than 5. Instead of giving here, I can give input, I can give parameters, and we have two parameters here. One is in parameter and another one is out parameter. In parameter, in the sense, whenever we are giving input, we will use that in parameter. Okay, here simply I will write it as in. Okay, and then I need to declare a variable here. For rating, maybe I will write it as any value, any name. We can write, we can use something like r, or else we can write any word. Maybe I will write it as rate. And after writing the variable, I need to declare the data type of it. Here rating, in the sense, PG, we know that is varchar, right? I'm directly using varchar of 5 maybe, or 10 maybe, it's our wish. So this will be my first input. In the sense, whenever SQL sees in, it will understand we are giving, for input we are giving this thing. So rate is my variable here. This is the data type I'm declaring for rate. Let me complete everything, then you can understand. Okay, so this will become my first uh, input, and my second input will be about storing the amount, right? So I can write amount, anything I can write, but it should not be same column name. We should not write. If we write the same column name, SQL will get confused what is the column name and what is the variable. I can write any another thing. Again, I need to write once again. I need to write in here. Again, this is again input, right? We need to write every time. I need to write in, and I will say maybe AMT or A, and amount, in the sense it is integer, right? I'm declaring the int here, data type here. This is my input. For input, I'm using a rate as my variable. I declared the data type. In the same way, this is my input. Amount is my variable. I declared the data type of amount. Okay. Now what I will do inside this, instead of giving rating is equals to PG, I will use this variable name rate. Whatever I write there, I can use here, but we need to make sure we should not write the same column name. If I write rating, SQL will get confused, because we are already having the same column name, right? So here what I will say, instead of 5, I will directly write it as amount. Okay, this is the way we will write it as dynamically. If I execute this, it will ask me to, whenever we are calling, we can give the input. Okay, so I'm just declaring the variables, and instead of giving the values directly, whenever I'm calling the procedure, I can give the inputs there. So first let me execute this. I need to change the name. Already I created the same thing, right? Maybe I will say, as it is dynamic, I'll just use only one word, one letter, something like that, to differentiate it. Okay, so I'm creating this one. It got created. Now I need to call this to see the output. I will say call procedure name, right?
We need to pass
Inside
the
this,
values.
I need to pass the values, correct? This will be my first variable and this will be second variable. I can give directly, right? If I want a rating is equals to G, I can give like this directly. For this purpose only, I used the rate here. Okay, and as we know, rate is, the varchar, that is the reason I declared, because I'm storing this value, I'm giving this value as input, right? My next input may be any number. Previously what we used, 5, now I'll use 6, something like that. We can give anything, right? Now what I did, created this procedure, I made it dynamically. Every day I will just come and I will just call this procedure, and accordingly whenever I'm calling directly, I will give whatever requirement. If I want to see G, I will give G. If I want to see PG, I will give PG. Like that we can give whatever we want, right? Now it will display my that kind of, G amount greater than something, whatever value we give. And next also I can use the same thing next day, or it will just save it permanently. How whenever we want we will use, until and unless we drop the procedure, it will save permanently. Now if I am giving asking PG, what we have some NC17 also, right? Like this only, I guess. Let's see. Like that, whatever we are writing, it will display that data. We can give however we want, right? This is the better way. By using this, we are, that is the reason I said in the question that we are just storing the SQL statements together and we are using reusing that. Correct?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
This is the best way of using the procedures daily. Whenever we will use which queries, I mean, depending upon, we will understand, right, on daily basis on which we are working, we will store that in the procedure and we will call it. And one more thing is also there. Instead of calling like this, we can even see here. Yeah, let me just refresh. So this is the one which I just created dynamically, right? So whenever I'm clicking on this one, you can able to see this execute, this ignite symbol here also. Okay. Instead of calling, if I just click on it also, it will ask me to enter the values manually. Here I can enter directly. No need of using this call, procedure name and everything. What I'm doing here, this is the procedure name. For first one, I cannot get that because I didn't used any parameters. For if I use any parameters, if I created in a dynamic way, this one, I will just click on the same ignite. This output button is there here also. If you can see, if I'm clicking on it, it is asking me, it is giving me a window, it is asking me, I hope you can see my screen, right? The window part, yes. So it is asking me to enter the values here only directly. I can say PG here, I can give any amount, I will execute, it will display the output. Very easy, right?
Yeah.
Instead of writing everything, we can do that like that.
Ma'am, this is called in parameter. Huh?
In parameter we have one more thing called as out parameter. Let's see that one also. No need of let's see. Let me solve one example, then you can understand. So till here everything is clear for everyone, right?
Yeah, yeah, clear, 100%.
So that's the reason I said this is very easy, I can say. Correct? Easy and useful also. So now let me write one question on joins. First, I will solve the same question by using in parameter. Then I will solve the same question by using out parameter. Okay. So maybe I will say create a procedure to display cities. We will having in Maven movies city column and country column, right? We performed many joins on that, right? If you remember, in city column, sorry, city table and country table. In country table we are having country ID. In city table also we are having country ID. We can join those two tables by using the country ID as common column. We did that many times, right? Same logic I'm using inside the procedure. I'm saying create a procedure that displays the city names. Okay, city names of any country I'm saying. Okay, I'm not basically I will create a dynamic way, and inside the parameters or as a input I will give the country name here. Okay, I hope you got my question. By using joins, I will just join those two tables, and I won't give in where condition. I won't say country is equals to India. I will try to give the variable or input there, and whenever I'm calling my procedure, I will give whatever country I want. We can give, right? So let me write it here. Delimiter. Now I'm using this thing. I said we can use anything, right? Previously I used dollar, I guess. Now I'm using this one. So I will say create procedure procedure name. We can give any procedure name. Maybe I'll give, as I'm displaying the name of the cities, I'll give city, country, something like that. Okay, we can give anything. We can give some a small name also, or else I can give city of country. And inside what I will give, I need to give one parameter only here, that is the country name, correct? If I give the country name as input, it should display that whatever in that country, whatever cities are there, it should display that output, right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying in as my parameter I will give maybe like this. Anything we can give, we should make sure we should not give the same column name, that's it. So here country name, in the sense again it will be varchar. So I will use varchar of, maybe I will give some biggest value 40 like that. Yes, that's it. Only one parameter is enough here for this question, I mean for this thing. So I'll use begin here, and I need to write the joins here. I need to perform the join here. So simply what I will say, select. So instead of star, we know we are displaying the city name. So I'm directly writing city. Select city from. In country I'm having country ID. In city also I'm having country ID. So I will say I'll join city in a join, right?
Country.
Country. Maybe I will write city as a C, country as a CN. Okay, I'll
Or
say on C dot
city
country
dot
ID, right?
country
Country
ID.
ID is
Country dot
equals to
country
is
ID.
not CN dot, and my keyboard is equals to is not working properly. So C dot country ID is equals to country dot, I mean CO dot country
CN
ID.
dot
We know
country
that.
ID.
Yeah, CN dot country ID. We know that, correct? So
Country
here,
ID, ma'am.
oh sorry. Okay, right now we know that we need to write the where clause, because we want to display any one of the country. We need to give the condition here. I will say where country is equals to, if I write, if I don't mention this parameters, if I wrote normally without dynamic way, I need to write the what country I want, I need to write here only. But as I mentioned the in a variable here, I will write simply this thing, correct?
CNTRY.
Correct. Now with this we are done with our SQL query, so I can write it as end, and I will use this one to close, right? We can use either this symbol or dollar symbol. So this is how we will write the syntax here, correct?
Yes.
Now let me just execute this.
Calls SP underscore. Ma'am, always we need to first execute store procedure, then we need to call. Huh?
Is we can do both also at a time, no problem. Just to
Okay.
make sure whether whether I have the same name or something like that, I will we will write like that. Okay, so something I wrote mistake here. See, what mistake I wrote? Anyone? We need to write semicolon, right? Definitely.
Yeah.
In usual ways, as every time we won't write semicolons after joins, in that flow we will miss. But we need whenever we will get that SQL syntax error, we need to remember, because whenever it is a semicolon only, if suppose if you are writing only one syntax also, as we are using some other delimiters here, we need to definitely write the semicolon here. Then only SQL will understand this as one query and this as the complete procedure. Okay, so that is a mistake I also do. One second, again I did something. Country, and that's it, no? Begin city from. Logic is correct only, no?
Yes, ma'am, correct only.
Then and one second.
Ma'am, try giving dollar.
No, no, it's not like that. We can use anything.
Ma'am, we have used where country equals to. I think where country in.
Where
That is correct.
country. No, no, equals to only we can use. Let me. I will see removing this. Let's see. It should work actually like this also. Procedure name, input country.
Ma'am, from command prompt, we need to activate it, right?
Which one?
Because you are using slash, no, I mean, probably in dollar it would work, but for slash,
No, 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 not like that. We can use anything. So, okay, as you are saying, let's try with dollar, but it's not like that. Okay, let me do one thing. First, I will execute only this line and see. Did I give a space previously? Once, let me. It, I didn't give space here. I directly gave like this previously. We need to give space. That's it. Nothing else. Okay. Sorry for that. Previously, I gave space, right? After delimiter, we need to use space. Then we need to write what is the symbol over there. Previously, if you saw in my output, see here also, I didn't use space. Directly after writing delimiter, I wrote the symbol. That is why it gave error. Like simple mistakes only it will have, but we won't understand. So now my procedure is created. Let me call it. Okay, call. I need to give the procedure name here. Maybe whatever country we can give as input, right? Maybe I'll give it as India only. Okay, I'm executing this. I got my all the city names of India. We are having 60 rows in it. Okay, even we can store one single logic also, no problem. Because we know, as I know, I if I am using this country and city continuously, I'll use this, and whenever I want, I'll just call this. Correct. Just we are trying to reuse the statements here. So no problem with this, Shushovan. Actually, we can use this because I will use very frequently. No, that's the reason I didn't change. But we need to give space here. I didn't give space for that reason only. We got error. Okay, clear for everyone.
yes,
If
ma'am.
it is clear, let's see out parameter example one example. Okay, so now for the same question, I will maybe write it as create procedure to display the city names of any country. I said no. Now we will say create a procedure to count the number of cities. Number of cities in any country. Again, the same thing even without using out parameter also we can do. Okay, only by using in parameter however we did previously we can do the same thing, but again by using out parameter also we can do. First let me use writing out parameter only. Okay, so what I'm saying here, I want to count the number of cities. Okay, so we are using count function here, and I need to give input parameter. I'm saying that I'm expecting what's equal to do, in the sense whatever input parameter I will give, the input parameter will be my country name. Whenever I give the country name, it should display me the count function, and I'm expecting that count function it should give me as an output parameter. Without using output parameter also, normally however we did, if directly if we call whatever we wrote in this, that one it will display. Now I'm saying whatever I'm writing it is in this, I'm just saving in one output parameter and it should display. That's it. No, nothing else here. Without using output parameters also we can solve all the things. Okay, so let's see how we will create output parameter. So maybe I will copy everything. We need to make a little changes, right? I'll do that. We are done with the time, I guess. Delimiter. Okay. I'm saying procedure. Uh, now I will change this thing. City, country. Guys, tomorrow also we are having a class. Okay, please attend. We are done with the time. If our admin team automatically closes the meeting tomorrow, let's join. Okay, guys, please respond. Is that okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I'm just changing the procedure name here, city, country, right? Maybe I will write it as count, something like that. We can write anything we want. So in input parameter, I can say the country is one input and I'm saying out here. Whenever I wrote out, it will understand I am writing output parameter and maybe I will say count and I will declare int. Count, I mean, whatever we will write the syntax as to count the number of cities, right? So that one I want to store it in this output. Now let me change this query also. I will write select instead of city, I will say count of city, right? I'm using count function here. Once I will write and then I will explain you. So I will say count of city from, then the remaining thing is same from city in a join country on country id city id where country is equals to country, everything is same here, correct? If we execute this it will display, right? What we are saying, I need to display, we are performing the count of the city names. As I'm saying, I want to display the count of the number of cities I'm having. So instead of displaying the city names, I'm saying I want to perform this function count of city from this table. The remaining syntax is same. Okay, the only difference is that as we are using this out as cnt, here I will say I'm expecting SQL to store this count of city in my variable whatever I give. So that is the reason I will use into here. Okay, if without out and without using into also, if we execute, we will get the same output only, right? Correct. Here what we did, if we write normally also, it will execute. If I don't write out and if I don't use this statement also, it will give me the same output. Again, we can use out parameter also. If we are using out parameter, we need to write like this out. I want to whatever function I'm doing here, I want to save that output in the count variable. That is the reason I declared count variable here. And hello, అయిపోయింది 1 minute. So I'm saying into and I'm using this into this variable, correct? Let me execute this first. If you have any doubts, let's discuss it tomorrow. It got executed and I'm saying a call procedure name again. Inside what I will use here, I need to give the input maybe country. So I will give India, and here to, as we are expecting the output here, I will say comma at the rate CNT. Okay, this thing whatever it is, as this is the output variable, right? That is the reason I will say cnt and I will write select cnt, then it will select at the rate cnt, then it will display the value. See, if we use output parameter, we need to write these two lines without using the same logic. If we the same for the same question, if we use however we write it, we did here only with input parameter also, it will work, correct? So let me just call this and display this. 1 second. First I need to call sp city count India, comma at the rate count I said.
From select at CND, do we need to give semicolon?
This one? No,
No,
no.
select at the rate CND. Last line,
Select at
line
the
number
rate.
59.
No need. Okay, I need to call it separately and I need to execute. That is the reason I previously did everything together, right? First we need to call it, then to see the output I am using select cnt, then it is displaying 60 is the count of our cities which we saw previously also, right? This is how we will write. But again, as I'm saying, without using output parameter also, we can solve the same query only by using input parameter, how we did previously. For in this table, in this thing, if I just write count of city here, it will display me the count only, right? Let me write it quickly. I will just say count of city, that's it. No need of changing anything. Maybe I'll give one, as we are not supposed to use the same name, I'm just changing the name here, right? It will give me the same output. It got created. I'm calling this same output, right? So I guess no need of using out parameter. If we use, we can use like this. I'm giving the output parameter here, and I need to, whatever variable I used here, I need to use that in this function, like into, I'm storing this output into this variable, and I'm using at the rate cnt whenever I'm calling. And this at the rate, in the sense, I'm just calling this value here at the rate count. If I'm giving this, this should be my value. And I need to use select at the rate cnt to display the output. I hope this is clear for you, everyone.
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Great. With this, our store procedures is also finished. If you have any doubts, let's discuss tomorrow. Okay.
Ma'am, only out we can't use. Huh?
Only out. Only out in the sense,
Not in
if
this case. In normal.
yeah, we can use if suppose we are writing any directly, but it won't be that dynamic, right? We, if we give input only, it will be dynamic. If I say directly in India here, I can use only out, like that also we
Okay.
can do. But in it's writing out is waste. If we use int only, it will be dynamic. We can write any country name we want, right?
Yeah, I understood.
Yeah, that is the concept here. So with this, store procedure is also done. So the use, sorry guys, I'll close this. Okay, let's meet in tomorrow. Please attend tomorrow class. Okay, bye.